What the hell did you just say?
Number 20. Freddie Prinze Jr. Whether he was charming audiences in She's All That or hunting down villains in Scooby-Doo, Freddie Prinze Jr. was a staple of millennial cinema.
And you can't keep avoiding me. Like the other night. What was that?
I was busy.
Yeah, busy wigging.
Excuse me, I did not wig.
There was major wiggage.
While he's done a solid amount of voice work since then, his live-action movie work has been a bit sparse.
This is Cole Ortiz. Move Singer's team to the Northeast Quadrant and tell him from now on I want updates every quarter hour.
In 2010, he made a season-long appearance in 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, who Prinze would later describe as the most unprofessional dude in the world. But aside from that, it was more so because of his family that Prinze's priorities changed.
Don't take it personally. It's mostly just because you creep me out.
Having lost his father at a young age, Prinze recognized the importance of being there for his kids and with wife Sarah Michelle Gellar. Good on you, Freddie, but we sure do miss seeing you on the big screen.
Thought we had to have all the answers right now.
And now?
Kind of liking the fact that I don't.
Number 19. Frankie Muniz.
Whoa, what happened to you?
What happened to me? I'll tell you what happened to me.
If you needed to hire an A-list child actor in the early 2000s, chances are Frankie Muniz would have been at the top of the list. Starting out as Malcolm of Malcolm in the Middle, Muniz put together an impressive string of feature appearances in movies like Big Fat Liar and Agent Cody Banks.
What's the deal? You're in every single one of my classes.
I guess great minds think alike.
Once Malcolm wrapped up in 2006, though, Muniz switched lanes and decided to devote his time to his love of racing cars. The New Jersey native has also had his fair share of health concerns stemming from concussions he sustained as a kid and still suffers from migraine auras as an adult.
It's similar symptoms to transient ischemic attacks.
Okay.
But now all this time, like I've been being told that and thinking that, where realistically, like I just had some pretty intense migraines.
Gotcha.
But overall, Muniz seems to be perfectly fine being out of the spotlight, raising his son Mouse, racing cars, playing drums, and, well, enjoying life.
You learn something new every day.
Number 18. Christian Slater. At one time an idol tapped by the Hollywood machine as the next big box office thing, Slater filled his early years with roles as a brooding heartthrob type.
What do you do?
That's the stupidest question I've ever heard.
The huge hits came next, but so did the bad behavior and arrests. By the time of the abysmal performance of Hard Rain, a unique but poorly received action film set during a flood, the actor fell out of favor as a lead actor.
What was that all about anyway? I'm sitting here, all of a sudden you go postal on me.
I don't know. It's just this weather.
Opting to use his acting prowess for meatier roles and more nuanced characters than in blockbusters, Slater slid under the radar.
It's not a lie! You ruined my life!
He did make a significant contribution to the hit thriller Mr. Robot in 2015 as a producer and actor, and has stayed busy with voice work on a variety of animated shows.
It ends when you walk out that door and begins when you walk in. Our encryption is the real world.
Number 17. Macaulay Culkin.
This is going to be fun, you know. Beautiful horses, interesting people.
And he wins some serious coin, right?
First garnering the attention of mainstream audiences with a pitch-perfect performance in Uncle Buck, Culkin's true star-making turn took place when he starred in the surprise mega-hit Home Alone.
What do you mean?
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
After moving on to a series of mediocre comedies, while also flexing his acting muscles in more dramatic roles like The Good Son,
If I let you go, do you think you could fly?
things slowed down a bit. Between 1994 to 2003 and onwards, he stayed away from the film industry pretty much entirely.
Just that I don't get out much on my own.
But in the 2020s, he's dipped back into acting, appearing in hit TV series like American Horror Story and The Righteous Gemstones. Number 16. Josh Hartnett.
Isolation was his greatest fear.
Yes, but his external existence in no way compared to the internal agony of the loneliness he felt.
Another former heartthrob. When Josh Hartnett was cast as Laurie Strode's son in the Halloween franchise, he parlayed that role into a lasting career.
I'm 17 years old, and your overprotection and paranoia is inhibiting my growth process.
Starring in acclaimed movies like Black Hawk Down, as well as cash cows like Pearl Harbor.
All right, Ray. That's how it's gonna be. To you.
He was everywhere between 2001 and 2003. Then, he was gone. Realizing stardom might not be for him, Hartnett looked to smaller studios and projects. This ended up backfiring as the actor burned many bridges to big studios for not participating.
You did what you were trying to do. You should be proud of that.
That being said, his role in the award-winning Showtime horror series Penny Dreadful definitely put him back into the spotlight, to some extent. And an appearance in the upcoming Christopher Nolan film Oppenheimer can't hurt either.
Ethan Chandler to see Sir Malcolm. I'm expected.
Number 15. Gina Davis.
That means the police have told them and the phone's probably tapped.
Tap the phone? What are you talking about?
An Oscar-winning actress known for strong female characters, Gina Davis is equally adept in dramas like Thelma and Louise and comedies like Beetlejuice.
What is this?
That's the Lost Souls room.
Miss Davis may have been an even bigger success than many realize, which is what makes hers a cautionary tale about what can happen to the star of a movie that's credited with taking down a film production company after 20 years of existence.
What do you mean?
After the fame she once enjoyed receded, Davis turned to activism, tried out for the U.S. Olympic archery team, and took a short-lived Golden Globe-winning TV role.
I'm gonna go out there, and I'm gonna take the oath of office. I'm gonna run this government.
In 2019, she also appeared in the Netflix series Glow.
Sometimes everyone needs a little reset.
Number 14. Rick Moranis. Disarming and hilarious, Rick Moranis was a perfect fit for child-friendly comedies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Little Giants, a hilarious addition to sci-fi comedies like Spaceballs, and had a biting enough sense of humor to create classics like Strange Brew.
So you're looking at me? Yeah, because she thought you're some kind of freak. Now come on, let's
God,
go.
she likes me, eh?
No way.
Perhaps the best tribute to just how fantastic he is was his ability to steal focus in Ghostbusters from some of the best comedic actors ever.
I am Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Gozer. Volca Sildro, our Lord of the Cebulia. Are you the gatekeeper?
Unfortunately, he chose to leave filmmaking to take care of his children after his wife died of cancer. We certainly respect his decision, but we do miss him. Luckily, he continued to do voice work, and now after all these years, we still might get to see him reprise an iconic role in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequel, Shrunk.
Giant blades of grass, huge insects. It's a jungle out there.
Number 13. Chris Tucker. 5 years after making his Hollywood debut and with just a handful of films under his belt, Chris Tucker stepped into a multi-movie, multi-million-dollar franchise.
If anybody need me, I'm gonna be working a big case for the FBI.
By the time he was paid $25 million for Rush Hour 3 in 2007, he was on fire, despite the fact that he hadn't appeared on a movie screen since 2001 and the previous Rush Hour flick.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Oui.
I'm Bubbles, the new costume designer.
In fact, aside from a celebrated supporting role in Silver Linings Playbook, Tucker has almost only appeared in movies called Rush Hour since 1998 and has basically dropped off the map.
You about to go to jail and all your little friends. Everybody pack up your stuff, let's get out of here. Pack up your stuff, let's go.
In a 2014 interview, the actor explained that due to his Christian faith, he had refrained from taking more roles that rely on heavy profanity.
Excelsior, Pat! Excelsior! That's my man, let's go.
Number 12. Mike Myers. First coming to prominence on Saturday Night Live, this Canadian funny man took the comedy world by storm with creations like Wayne Campbell, Austin Powers, and Dr. Evil.
$100 billion.
But then he starred in a much reviled adaptation of a classic children's book and created an annoying and borderline racist caricature of an Indian religious leader in The Love Guru.
Give me a pound. Lock it down.
Perhaps sensing the public's dwindling desire, Myers has steered away from that particular brand of humor since, with a supporting role in Inglourious Bastards and voice work in the Shrek films.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
His appearance in 2018's Bohemian Rhapsody is the most we've seen of the actor on the big screen in recent years, and it's a role that would certainly get the approval of Wayne's World.
Look, we just really need something special. More hits. Like Killer Queen, only bigger.
Number 11. Meg Ryan.
Not until you tell me what is going on. And I want to know everything, Jack.
Meg Ryan's movies have grossed over $870 million around the globe, but most of that sum is associated with iconic films from the 80s and 90s like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle, and less so her later work.
But I'd like the pie heated, and I don't want the ice cream on top. I want it on the side, and I'd like strawberry instead of vanilla if you have it.
She took a couple of chances starring in The Cut and the box office bomb Against the Ropes in 2004, which knocked her down a couple of pegs in Hollywood.
Was I?
That was better than all right. But you gotta get in shape. You gotta get in boxing shape, right, Felix?
She went on hiatus shortly after, telling the New York Times, "I didn't feel like I knew enough anymore about myself or the world to reflect it as an actor. I felt isolated." Luckily, Ryan made a return to the industry in the 2010s and will be directing the Netflix adaptation of A Lady's Guide to Selling Out in the 2020s. We can't think of a better person for the job. Number 10. Emilio Estevez. Son of Martin Sheen and brother of Charlie, Emilio Estevez has received the most coverage over the last few years for his directing work, or when discussing the antics of his more famous sibling.
Fine. But I didn't dump my purse out on the couch and invite people into my problems.
First coming to prominence alongside his fellow Brat Packers in dramatic roles before trying his hand at other things, he went on to land comedic parts in films like Loaded Weapon 1 and the Mighty Ducks series.
That was the sloppiest playing I've ever seen. Why the hell don't you just listen to me?
Eventually maturing into an accomplished director, Estevez now appears happy to spend his time behind the camera. But you might have spotted him in the Mighty Ducks reboot series in 2021, taking up the role of Coach Gordon Bombay once again.
I'm guessing you didn't see the sign? I hate hockey, and I don't like kids.
You run an ice rink.
Weird, huh?
Number 9. Neve Campbell.
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
First gaining notoriety as one of the leads on the award-winning drama Party of Five, Neve Campbell showed off her immense talents as a teen dealing with the death of her parents.
Sometimes I wonder if this feeling's ever gonna go away.
After making the leap to the film world, she gave other memorable performances in high school-aged roles in The Craft and Wild Things, and anchored the Scream franchise. After graduating to adult roles, Neve has embraced meatier characters in independent fare.
There's a killer out there patterning his murders after the original movie.
I know, it's pretty wild.
Well, you have to call it off.
More recently, she reprised her role as Sidney Prescott in the 5th installment of Scream and played a criminal prosecutor in the Netflix adaptation of The Lincoln Lawyer.
Am I not still allowed to get a little jealous here?
A, no you're not, and B, like you're not out on Tinder.
Number 8. Val Kilmer.
Until one terrible morning you wake up and realize that revenge has become your whole life. And you won't know why.
Whether it was an adrenaline-soaked action flick like Top Gun, a western like Tombstone, or a biopic like The Doors, Val Kilmer tried his hand successfully at all of them.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Arguably reaching the zenith of his career in 1995 when he starred alongside Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in Heat and took over Batman's cowl, Val Kilmer's career trajectory has taken a different direction from some of his contemporaries. While the 2010s did see him star in some direct-to-video movies, as well as a few other projects, the decade was not an easy one for him. He has been dealing with throat cancer since 2015 and suffered major damage to his vocal cords as a result. Incredibly, the actor was able to reprise his role as Iceman in the 2022 Top Gun sequel. We salute you, Val.
The Navy needs Maverick. The kid needs Maverick.
Number 7. Jennifer Connelly.
I need to buy around.
For everyone?
I'm afraid rules are rules.
Another Top Gun Maverick star, Miss Connelly's career has gone through 3 distinct stages.
You don't by any chance know the way through this labyrinth, do you?
Oh, me? Nah, I'm just a worm.
First, she was a young actress alongside puppets in Labyrinth, as well as a romantic lead in Career Opportunities. Though here, she did little to stand out from the pack. She then transitioned into one of the most respected actresses with awe-inspiring performances in the late 90s and early noughties, quickly becoming an Oscar-winning force to be reckoned with.
I need to believe that something extraordinary is possible.
The most recent stage of her career has included small roles in films like Spider-Man: Homecoming and Alita: Battle Angel. But unfortunately, there's mostly been a lack of roles befitting her ample talents.
Together we can build the finest champions this game has ever seen. Could be my ticket home.
When are you going to realize there is no way back?
Number 6. Winona Ryder. There was a time when this actress's name was on the lips of every casting agent in Hollywood, and she appeared to be a shoo-in for every major role for young women as a result.
I mean, like, metaphorically.
At the turn of this century, however, something changed as Winona Ryder went on from starring in movies like Reality Bites to appearing mostly in tabloids after her 2001 shoplifting arrest.
It wasn't my idea. You know I didn't want to do it.
While that fiasco did hurt her acting career in film, she's since enjoyed one of the most celebrated returns to fame with her starring role in the hugely successful Netflix series Stranger Things.
I want to kill it.
Thanks to this, a new generation of movie and TV buffs have been introduced to her and her iconic film roles from the 80s and 90s.
Well, I read through that handbook for the recently deceased. It says, live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
Number 5. Joe Pesci. An absolute pit bull of an actor, Joe Pesci's Academy Award for his portrayal of Tommy DeVito in Goodfellas stands as the ultimate proof of his ability to intimidate.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Just, you know how you tell a story.
On the other hand, though he was the film's antagonist, his performance in the Christmas classic Home Alone was a lovable role.
A dead kid.
After stealing scenes from some of his generation's most talented actors, Pesci seemed to say, screw this, before the end of the 90s and released a horrendous comedy rap album before announcing his retirement.
Let's say, for instance, I want to go in the restaurant, which happens to be in the casino, to get one of those sandwiches I like.
Forget it. You can't even set foot in the parking lot.
Almost 20 years later, though, and after much convincing from his old friend Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci finally showed up on the big screen again as Russell Bufalino in the gangster epic The Irishman.
When I ask somebody to take care of something for me, I expect them to take care of it themselves. I don't need two roads coming back to me.
Number 4. Molly Ringwald.
It's so absurd I have to be here on a Saturday.
For those of you who are too young to remember the days of the Brat Pack, it was a group of young actors in the 80s who starred in seemingly every film featuring teens. Their undisputed queen was none other than Molly Ringwald, a lovable redhead who was beautiful enough to grab the eye and relatable enough to grab your heart.
I'm 16. Everything should be platinum. I should be happy, right? Right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't get happy.
Sadly, as we would learn later in her career, Ringwald was subjected to humiliating and abusive behavior by male directors and studio executives as a young actress. Not too long after, she chose to leave Hollywood and move to Paris to live a more normal life, though she has since appeared in American productions on the big and small screens.
I'm a tough cookie, in case you hadn't noticed.
Number 3. Brendan Fraser.
Here's my card.
Ooh. The devil. Yep. That explains it.
This Canadian-American actor first showed us his comedic timing in films like Encino Man, George of the Jungle, and Bedazzled, an aptitude for action in the Mummy franchise, and true dramatic skills in both Gods and Monsters and the underrated School Ties.
You lied to me.
I didn't lie to you. I lied to my father.
But the feverish pace this actor was making movies at in the 1990s quickly caught up to him, ultimately resulting in knee replacements, back surgeries, and mental health issues that made it impossible for him to maintain his acting career in the same way during the 2000s. Amazingly, though, he's returned to TV and film roles in a big way, with his performance in 2022's The Whale receiving a 6-minute standing ovation during its world premiere at the 2022 Venice International Film Festival. Welcome back, Brendan.
Oh, man, you just got to play one game at a time and go out there and give 110%, and you just got to show that you want it more than they do when chips fall where they may.
Number 2. Renee Zellweger. An actress who has been nominated for over 200 different awards, 67 of which she's taken home, including Oscars and Golden Globes, Renee Zellweger's filmography has far more winners than losers.
Just shut up. You had me at hello.
Also finding success with comedies like Me, Myself, and Irene and the Bridget Jones series, her last real live-action success before her long hiatus came in 2005 with Cinderella Man. After starring in a few duds in 2006, Zellweger took a much-needed break from acting, saying she was fatigued from not taking time to recover between projects.
Biodegradable and dolphin-friendly.
If I'm going to be slutty, it's nice to think I'm helping the environment.
It must have been the right choice, as Zellweger returned with 2016's box office hit Bridget Jones's Baby and got herself another Oscar in 2020 for a performance as Judy Garland in the 2019 biopic, Judy. Number 1. Richard Gere.
You call me when you got $5,000.
From Pretty Woman to Runaway Bride to Chicago, Richard Gere was a go-to leading man in the 90s and early 2000s. He was named Sexiest Man Alive in 1999 when Gere was 50 at the time, though his age and graying hair had seemingly nothing to do with his disappearance from the spotlight.
It's just that very few people surprise me.
Yeah, well, you're lucky. Most of them shocked the hell out of me.
A practicing Tibetan Buddhist and friend of the Dalai Lama, Gere famously criticized China's poor human rights record and treatment of Tibet during a speech at the 1993 Oscars. It's this specific instance that changed his career forever, Gere maintains, as Chinese investors and film financiers refuse to work on projects with him to this day.
You got me fired, lady. You destroyed my reputation, and you screwed up my hair.
The feeling appears to be mutual for Gere, who seems happy to be doing smaller projects as long as it helps him to keep his integrity intact.
You are who you are. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Anyone thinks. The work you do on yourself is the important stuff.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.